I'm Debbie Holloway with Crosswalk.com, and today we're speaking with Sara Horn, the author of My So-Called Life as a Submissive Wife from Harvest House. Why did you call it an experiment as opposed to just a life change or whatever?
Right. Well, for me, an experiment sounds a little less threatening. It sounds a little more temporary as opposed to just, always. I didn't wake up one day and say, I think I'm going to try and be biblically submissive to my husband. This really stemmed from a couple of years ago when I did another experiment, and I decided to pursue the Proverbs 31 wife passage that so many of us are familiar with, and to take that on for a year and to see what would happen, to see if by applying some of those principles we read about in that passage, what might happen in my marriage, in my life, in my relationship with God. And I saw so many benefits and good things that came out of that. Very much a heart change, very much a life change. I had been so driven to make a difference for God in ministry, but I had neglected to see my husband and my child as my ministry too.
Did you find any surprises in your year of biblical submission?
To kind of give you an idea of myself and my husband Cliff is the sweetest, funniest guy you'll ever meet, and very laid back, very easygoing. I, on the other hand, can be, Miss Type A. Which I think is a lot of men and women in their relationships. And so it was a little, unnerving at first, not knowing what to expect, not knowing what this looks like. And I think that's the issue that we deal with so often when we look at these verses in Scripture. Wives, submit to your husbands as unto the Lord. Well, what does that look like? What does that mean? And so that's what I really wanted to examine, and not to make it a caricature, not to make fun of it, but to really take it to heart and see what it looked like in this type of culture. So some of the surprises that I discovered. One, my husband changed more, I think, than I did, which I don't think I was expecting that. I thought, yes, I'll change some more, but he changed, and I saw him start to really lead our family, in ways that he hadn't done before. And I realized that so often I was in the way. I've talked to other wives, and we all want our husbands to lead our families. We want them to be the leaders of our homes, to an extent, but we want them to lead the way we want them to lead. Which really isn't leadership.
Right.
And so there were several times I know when I started to notice my husband really starting to, take some leadership of the family, I didn't like it, it kind of rubbed me wrong, and I was like, wait a minute, what are we creating here, and because he was being more assertive, and he was, but really he was figuring out his way as the leader of our home, just as I was figuring out this new way of being a supportive wife. I love how the Message translation words, Ephesians 5:22, it says, wives, understand and support your husbands in ways that shows your support for Christ. And for me, I can get that. I can show support and understand my husband as I am working to support and to follow Christ, because he's who I first answer to. He's who I'm following, Christ. Some of the other surprises that I found during the year was that when I stepped back just a little bit, it gave my husband room to step forward, and to have that time, to have those moments, to be able to lead, to make mistakes, just as I make mistakes, and it really opened up a lot of communication for us. I think it really definitely grew our marriage. We talked more about what our marriage is about and what that looks like. We talked more about how God is involved in our relationship, and for me that was really, really exciting.